Hello, my darlings, and welcome to episode 3 of the Uncomplicated Perimenopause podcast. My name is Kate Grosvenor. I'm a perimenopause expert and life coach.
And I'm Gabriella Grosvenor, Kate's daughter, here to listen with you all.
So, as always, Gabriella's going to ask me your questions about anything to do with perimenopause. And as always, I have no idea what she's going to ask me.
And if you want to ask a question as well, submit it to the Facebook group or on WhatsApp.
I'm always a bit nervous at this point because I know I literally don't know what the question is going to be. And although it's what I do for a living, I spend my entire life answering questions. I'm kind of, at this point, I never know what it's going to be. Right, hit me with it.
This is Jennie from our Facebook group.
Hi, Jennie.
Jennie wants to know, what are some suggestions for relief for those who cannot have HRT?
Okay.
She had estrogen-fed breast cancer
Oh, bless you.
and has to be careful with eating foods, especially even ones with soy in it.
Yeah. Bless
She
her.
is 16 years cancer-free now.
Huzzah! Well done.
Her
Oh,
irritability gets the best of her.
Okay, yeah.
And she's constantly on edge.
Yeah.
Any suggestions?
First of all, congratulations.
Congrats, Jennie.
That's good. It's great news on one side, but I get the irritability on the other side. Okay. So for anybody that doesn't understand why this would be a thing, if you've been, bless your heart, estrogen-fed breast cancer means that your body, estrogen is a grower in your body. So estrogen is what I call a fertilizer. Sorry, I do apologise, by the way. There's certain words, for those of you who don't know me very well, I'm on the spectrum. So there's certain words that I say that I always say in a certain accent, and it's very entertaining for everyone around me, but I can't help it.
It is.
It's just, it's one of those things. And yeah, you get used to it. So estrogen is a fertilizer and progesterone is a mower. So those are the two main hormones that we look at in perimenopause, okay? So estrogen being a fertilizer, if you've had estrogen-fed breast cancer and then your body was given any type of estrogen, it would increase the abnormal cells again. So what's going to happen then is you're likely, if you've got any abnormal cells, they're likely to reoccur. So she has to be super, super careful. Now, there are certain foods that we call phytoestrogens, and they're great for people in perimenopause. They're great for people in menopause, people that want to boost their natural supply of estrogens. Fantastic. Things like soy milk, things like edamame beans. You know, when we go to Yo Sushi and you and the girls love to eat those edamame beans with salt on. Yeah. Taste delicious. Full estrogen, lovely natural estrogen. Jennie can't have them.
Okay. Why?
Because they're estrogen.
Right.
They literally will give your body a natural boost of estrogen. And so if she were to eat them, it could then, if there were any abnormal cell activities in her body, it might cause them to grow because estrogen is a fertilizer. Okay. So why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because when we go through, in everyday life, women, they have three main sets of hormones. We have estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Now, in the last episode, we talked about testosterone when we looked at, go on, who did we talk to in the last episode? Debbie, thank you. We were talking about Debbie when we were talking about libido.
Yeah.
But in this episode, when we're talking about Jennie, we're looking at her irritability. We're going to talk more about progesterone. Now that sounds weird because she's talking about estrogen. So why are we talking about progesterone when she's talking to us about estrogen? Well, it's because you can't have one without the other. So if you were to go to the doctor and you were to talk about HRT, they wouldn't give you one without the other.
Okay. That makes sense.
Great. Because you have to have a fertilizer, which is your estrogen, and a mower, which is your progesterone. So if you were going to plant grass in the garden, you would plant the grass seed and eventually you'd have to mow the lawn. Makes perfect sense. Correct. Back in the day, And breathe while I'm going to tell you this.
I'm just waiting to hear this.
It's lovely. Back in the day, okay, and promise me you're not going to overreact.
I promise you I will try.
Okay, back in the day, when HRT first became a thing, they used to make HRT out of pregnant mare's urine.
You will have to elaborate on that. What?
I don't think there's... So, I'll say it again because I don't know if there's another way I can say it.
It's not a normal sentence.
No, I know it's not. Listen, I know it's not a normal sentence. Okay, so when they first created HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy, HRT, they only produced the estrogen side of it. And in order to produce the estrogen side of it, they produced it from pregnant mare's urine.
Why?
So, because that's the only source of estrogen they could find.
Okay.
So, pregnant mares, pregnant horses, yes, had a lot of estrogen in their urine. So they would create the HRT from that.
Okay. It's good that they've stopped that.
It's good that they've stopped that for many reasons. One of which was that giving women just the estrogen and not the progesterone. Remember, it's a fertilizer and there's no mower.
Yeah.
So if you fertilize something and you don't mow it down, you end up with just fertilizer. And then what happened was what would then happen was the lining of the uterus and all this kind of, would get thicker and thicker and thicker. And then you're likely to get uterine cancer and this is why you can't give just estrogen. Do you understand? Yeah. Because you're just growing things and you're not mowing them down. So it's like just throwing grass seed on your lawn and not mowing it down. You end up with a jungle.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Are you with me? So this is the problem. So you have to have estrogen and progesterone. Right. So let's go back to Jennie's case. She can't have progesterone because she's not taking estrogen because everything has to be in balance. Yeah. Why is that a problem? Well, because progesterone is the thing that we call a soporific. So the soporific is the thing that makes you calm. It makes you sleepy. It makes you peaceful. It makes you feel, okay? So she ain't getting that. Bless her. So that's the first thing. Okay. So her sleep will be affected. Yeah. Okay. She won't feel calm because she's not getting that naturally in her body because they can't give her that because they ain't giving her the other stuff. Yeah. And they can't give her one without the other, so she's already out of balance. Yeah. All right. So that's number one. Number two, estrogen is very important in the production of things that make your gut feel okay and serotonin. Serotonin is produced in the gut. Do you, for example, you are a woman that suffers from endometriosis. Yes.
Fun fact.
Fun fact for the whole family. No, not for the whole family, thankfully. It's just you, bless your heart. So when you have a bout of endometriosis, you are likely to get IBS type symptoms. So you get bloated, you get very distended, hard stomach. Yep. What's your mood like?
Grumpy.
Bitchy.
Yeah, in a bad mood, yeah.
I live with her.
Because it's just the pain that you're in,
right, yeah. But you presume that it's the pain that you're in.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. 90 to 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. Serotonin is your happy hormone.
Okay.
It's the one you can't produce it in an acidic environment. So if your tummy isn't happy, is acidic, is bloated, is distended, you're not producing your serotonin because it can't be produced in that environment. Yeah. Go back to grade 6 science for a moment.
I'd rather not.
Yes. So another fun fact, I used to be a head teacher. Gabby used to be at my school.
Yeah, she was my head teacher.
I was Gabby's head teacher. That was lovely.
Use your imagination.
Yes, lovely. So that's the point. So if you don't have a great environment in your gut, and this is why if people say to me, what are two really, really important things in perimenopause, I say, look after your gut. Because without a healthy gut, you're going to have all kinds of problems, not just because of the nutrition, which you desperately, desperately need in perimenopause for so many different things, but also because of the serotonin factor, because you're going to need all the healthy, happy hormones that you can get. That's number one. So if you don't have a healthy gut, you're not going to have the happy hormones. Number two, you also really need to have a grip on your cortisol. Cortisol gets a bad rep. Cortisol, we know, most women know, is your stress hormone.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Cortisol, you actually do need it. So everybody needs cortisol. We know it's our stress hormone, but it also wakes you up. It's your awake hormone as well.
Okay.
So you do need cortisol in the morning. So we need to wake up. Being awake's good. And the first hour and a half of the day, you shouldn't actually have your coffee. So we have this thing in our head, and it's a habit that we get into. It's almost like I call it like the Garfield phenomenon. You know, this kind of like grumpy, give me my coffee in the morning type of thing. Yeah. You know, like
I hate Mondays.
Yeah. Give me my coffee. And we think that we need coffee first thing, but we don't actually. We should wait an hour and a half, like go on the school run, come back, then have a coffee and put some collagen in it, but that's a story for another day. So you should wait before you have your first coffee, because you let your cortisol do its job and then have a coffee. But managing your stress is massively important as well.
Okay.
Why is it more important for Debbie and anyone else that is going through perimenopause, but especially anybody else that can't take progesterone? There's something called progesterone steal, which means that the place where progesterone is made is also where cortisol is made. And if you're making lots of cortisol because you're really stressed, your body's going to make that first and then make progesterone second.
And there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do, because your body will always prioritise fight or flight.
Oh, okay.
Because your body wants to keep you alive. So if you're really, really stressed, your body thinks, oh, she's going to get eaten by a big beast because they're coming to take you. They're coming to attack you. Oh my God, the big monster's coming to take you away. And so it's always going to like think, because that's what modern day stress is, right? It's the equivalent of the beast is coming to get you.
Yeah. So
it always prioritizes fight or flight. So when you're stressed, it always pumps cortisol through you because it thinks that you're going to get eaten by this, this monster. And it will always prioritize that over regulating hormones. Because quite frankly, who gives a shit if you can have a baby?
Yeah.
If you're about to get eaten by a monster.
You need to be alive.
You need to be alive anyway. Yeah. So, right? It doesn't make a difference. So it's always going to prioritize producing cortisol over producing progesterone.
Okay.
So again, Debbie loses out.
Yeah.
So if you're stressed, you're not going to produce progesterone. That's kind of like a catch-22, because you need progesterone to feel less stressed. But as soon as you get stressed, you're going to produce less cortisol.
Yeah.
So what does all of this mean? Well, it means...
I'm sorry, Debbie.
It means Debbie, bless your heart.
Debbie, Jennie.
Jennie, sorry. Now I've got going with Debbie. Jennie. Okay, so what does this mean, Jennie? This means that your main priority is going to be reducing stress. How do you do that? Well, there's certain things that you can do to help you. First and foremost, there are certain supplements that you can take that will help you. There are things like, and you have to take your oncologist's, so an oncologist is somebody that helps you with a cancer referral. Yeah. And when you've had breast cancer, you will still have ongoing support and referrals, just support from that. Yeah. So there are things like ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a root, and it's something that I recommend for a lot of perimenopausal women who have anxiety, but it's also things that I would recommend it for. It's a really exciting, so for those of us who like neuroscience, my background is psychology, so I get very excited about neuroscience, and I follow I do a lot of research on neuroscience because I'm just strangely geeky weirdo.
I enjoy hearing all about it, actually. I know.
So my dad's also a psychologist, so we kind of have these massive debates about neuroscience and latest research, and we really get into it at the dinner table.
We're a fun family.
Well, we're rock and roll in our house. But ashwagandha is from Indian kind of traditional herbal medicine, and it's very interesting what it actually does to the brain. But it essentially relaxes the brain. So have a look into that. Get an approval from your oncologist, and see what it can do for you. And I think it will help you massively. I genuinely recommend it. Something else that you can take with it is CBD, which most people know is from the marijuana plant with no kind of benefits, just to let you know. But that's also very, very good.
You don't need a prescription as well for
No,
CBD, do
CBD
you?
you can get from Holland and Barrett, and other major retailers are available. But you go for try and get ones that have a good strength, so like a 20% CBD oil. Don't go for the 5% because they're really not worth it. Something else is reishi mushroom. Reishi, R-E-I-S-H-I, mushroom. It's literally a mushroom.
Okay.
Again, nothing dodgy, no kind of like psychedelic, no special mushrooms in there. These are all things that have relaxing benefits for you. Okay. They're all very good for relaxation just of your brain. So these are all things that I'm talking about for your brain that we know have relaxation for your brain. Another thing that you can have is valerian root. They use that in things like calms. Have you ever heard of the tablets?
Thing,
If you look at the ingredients of a calm natural remedy tablet, it will just say valerian root.
Okay.
You can have this. Valerian root is also, there's a company, I'll put it into the links in the show notes. One of my favourite companies, Tea Pigs.
Oh yeah.
Do you know I have? Yeah. So I have lots of tea picks because herbal teas in general are really good. And the thing that I'd love all the listeners to get into is understanding that your perimenopause journey is yours.
Yeah.
Okay. Is perimenopause the most fun you're ever going to have?
Doesn't sound like it.
No. Can you do things to help yourself?
Yes.
Yes. So it's about saying, listen, this is my life. This is where I'm going. Is it a little bit sucky? On occasions, yes. But there are things that you can do. Like, for example, having a herbal tea before bed with valerian root. The one that they have from Tea Picks is called Calm. It has a little bunny rabbit on the front. It's really
will this help your stomach as well and your guts?
No, not the Calm. The one that would help your stomach and your gut is peppermint and licorice.
Yes.
Peppermint tea, as we know, most people know is very, very good for your tummy. Licorice is nature's natural anti-inflammatory.
Oh, good to know.
So licorice in general is very good for the skin. If you have a lot of women in perimenopause have inflamed skin, they have a rash on that, you like to get a rash on your skin because the capillaries in your skin will dilate and contract quite a lot because of the hot flashes. So the capillaries in your skin will dilate and all that stuff. So licorice is a very good ingredient that you can find in a lot of skincare that's aimed at perimenopausal women. Superdrug, by the way, do a whole range of I think it's menopause rather than perimenopause, but they asked me to do a campaign for them. I think it was last October, and on TikTok. Yeah, I did a campaign for them, and actually I genuinely use their every day. I use their eye cream because it has caffeine in it every morning, and caffeine is very good for waking up. Eye cream to wake up your eyes because it depuffs the eyes in the morning.
That's really good.
Caffeine is really good.
So instead of having a cup of coffee first thing in the morning, put that on.
But bung your coffee in your eye bags, mate.
Okay.
So licorice is really good. So for anything inflammatory, licorice is really good. And while we're on the subject of anti-inflammatories, again, helping yourself, turmeric, really good for anti-inflammatory. Ginger, very good as nature's natural anti-inflammatory. Garlic, again.
Aren't they also happy hormone food as well?
Yes, garlic is, as is bananas, dark chocolate, pasta, weird things.
Okay.
Not all together because garlic and chocolate is like
pasta. Yeah, is a bit.
Not, although you can put a bit of dark chocolate in a spaghetti bolognese and it just brings it. Long story. Bit of chili as well.
Someone take one for the team and try it. Let us know how it.
I've done it before. You have just never noticed.
Oh no!
Yeah,
you fed that to me.
Oh, you don't even know what you've eaten over the years.
You've made pasta last night. I'm now questioning. Did you put dark chocolate in it?
Rude. I made pasta last night with beautiful cherry tomatoes, garlic, fresh mascarpone, and heaps of baby spinach with shavings of Parmesan cheese and black pepper. She thinks I feed her weird stuff. No, it's just sometimes a shaving of dark chocolate in a ragu sauce just brings out the flavour.
Okay.
Check her, it's rude. Honestly. So just having a look at those kind of things will help the brain. Okay, so that's the brain part. How do you relax your brain?
Yeah.
In terms of your body, actually, no, going back to your brain for a second, one of the most important things you can do to relax your brain is learning the word no.
Simple.
Very simple. Putting your boundaries in place and realising that you don't have to be everything for everyone, and you don't have to sacrifice yourself on the altar of children and family and everybody else's wishes and desires every day will massively help you to reduce your stress and your irritability. One of the biggest problems we have as women is that we will prioritise our children, our parents, our house, our job, our cats, our pot plants, our, everybody else in our life will get higher ranking. I'll have clients that will be absolutely, as a life coach this is, I'll have clients that will come to me and they'll be like, I can't do anything for myself, I'm at the end of my tether, and they'll be almost burned out. And then I'll say, well, what did you do last night? Oh, well, after I'd driven my daughter to ballet class and I came back and I answered my parents' call and I dealt with my sister-in-law, and I was like, well, where was you in all of this? Oh, well, I didn't have time for me. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Yeah. And this is the thing. So if you did something for yourself every day, and it doesn't have to be, a spa every single day. I mean, why can't it be? But we have 1,440 minutes in a day.
Okay. Didn't know the number.
But what's wrong with 10 minutes for a bath? What's wrong with a mental health walk for 30 minutes? I mean, you take mental health walks every single day, right?
Yeah, it massively,
without
massively
fail
helps,
Yeah. I mean, you wake up, if you're feeling anxious, you go for a walk. I'm one of those people. Every single night I take very, very good care of my skin, and people go, that's vanity. It's not. It's my routine at night time is like,
it's yours,
it's mine. And I'm it's my time. And it sounds really like vain, but I do all my skin, and I oil all my cuticles and my feet creams, and my body creams, and it's just a nighttime ritual, like a sleep hygiene routine. And it's not just about kind of pampering and self-care. It's a way to love myself and have downtime and peace. And I don't do it while screaming at, I haven't got any little children anyway, my youngest is 17, but do you know what I mean? It's like I can do it whilst listening to like calming music or a meditation.
You're so right. There's over 1,000 minutes.
1,000, nearly 1,000. It's 1,440 in a day.
Yeah.
If you took 10, 20, 30 minutes of that to look after yourself.
Yeah, and it's so doable.
It's so doable, but we don't prioritise it. We wait to see if there's any time left for ourselves. And then we wonder why we feel like we're burned out. Why are we so irritated? Why do we feel exhausted? Why do we feel like we're on empty? Well, you're on empty because you give nothing to yourself. Okay? And we need that time. And in perimenopause, I'm sorry, we need the time even more.
Yeah.
Okay, because we are on empty by that point. Okay, so Jennie, my darling, say no, because no is a full sentence.
I love that saying.
I know, no, it is a full sentence. Okay, prioritize yourself, boundaries in place with some friends and family, because at this point, it's not being selfish. No one in your life, and this is absolutely true, no one in your life will suffer if you learn to look after yourself and take some time for yourself. No one in your life. If you feel more calm and you feel happier and you feel more content, no one suffers from that. And trust me, I used to be shouty mum. You can't say that I didn't. Yeah. My kids will tell you, when I was chronically depressed back in 2016. I was so unhappy. I was depressed. I wouldn't get out of bed during the day. Poor Gabby quite often had to take the kids to school because my life was a train wreck. And when I look back, I feel very sorry for the girls, and they don't. You know, I've apologised to you, haven't I? Though I have apologised to you for my own mental health back then. I couldn't.
But if you look after yourself, no one loses out, but actually people benefit.
Everybody benefits.
Everybody does, truly.
Especially yourself.
Yeah.
But everybody benefits when you look after yourself. It's so, so, so important. And other things, just even a breathing routine, meditation, you know, meditation, yoga. And people look at me and go, I'm not bendy. It's got nothing to do with being bendy. I was made out of girders.
Yeah, we're not.
No, we're not a bendy family. We're tennis. I'm like boxing, hockey, horse riding. There's no bend in me. Trust me. But it's about calm. It's about peace. It's about relaxation. So if you blend the kind of yoga, mindfulness, meditation with taking time for yourself, even just a cup of tea and a book, a bath, a skincare routine, mental health walks, with herbal remedies to relax the brain, relax the mind, with understanding what's going on with your body, taking care of your gut and managing your stress. And then the last bit, I know you've joined my perimenopause group on Facebook, bless your heart. It's your home now, and feel free. You know, I'm hoping, I know that you're getting a lot from it because I've seen your comments. So, you know, thank you for being part of the community, and I hope it's giving you everything that you want and more. But if you combine all those things together, that's the secret recipe to reducing your irritability. And whenever you have a moment to take time for yourself, it's saying to yourself, I'm safe, I am loved. It's okay to take time for me. And then making sure that you take it and saying, it's okay to put me first. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I hope that helps. Mm-hmm. Thank you to Gabriella, as always, for being my sidekick.
Thank you to Kate for being wonderful, Kate.
Bless you. All right, my darlings, as always, keep the questions coming and we will speak to you soon. Take care.
Bye.